Hello, I'm the Northman. Welcome to your daily dose of crypto news. Let's get into today's article. It says Bitcoin and Ether fall, then rebound as Trump retreats from Greenland tariffs. The sharp reversal showed how closely crypto prices remain tethered to macro headlines. Solana, XRP, Cardano, and Dogecoin followed a similar pattern of quick losses and partial recoveries. What to know? Bitcoin plunged below 88,000 before rebounding towards 90,000 in Asian trading after President Donald Trump softened tariff threats tied to Greenland during his Davos appearance. The sharp reversal showed how closely crypto prices remain tethered to macro headlines, with shifting trade rhetoric, bond yields, and risk sentiment driving rapid swings. Major tokens, including Ethereum, Solana, XRP, Cardano, and Dogecoin, followed a similar pattern of quick losses and partial recoveries, signaling stabilization rather than a renewed risk on a rally. Bitcoin staged a sharp overnight round trip during Asian trading hours, sliding below 88,000 before rebounding towards 90,000, according to the CoinDesk market data, after President Trump walked back tariff threats tied to Greenland during his World Economic Forum appearance in Davos. The move capped a volatile 24 hours of crypto markets, which were dragged lower earlier in the week by a global risk-off wave sparked by Trump's threats towards Europe, a jump in bond yields, and renewed anxiety across equity markets. By Thursday morning in Asia, those pressure had begun to ease, and crypto followed. Bitcoins briefly fell to around $87,300 late Wednesday as US markets digested Trump's aggressive rhetoric and bond markets remained unsettled. But sentiment shifted quickly after Trump said he would refrain from imposing tariffs on European nations opposing US control of Greenland, citing that he called a framework of a future deal, whatever that may entail. That reversal helped calm broader markets. US equity futures turned higher, Japanese government bonds rebounded for a second session, and haven demand cooled after gold touched fresh highs earlier in the week. Bitcoin bounced alongside that stabilization, recovering to near $90,000 and erasing most of the overnight drop. The episode is indicative of how closely crypto remains tied to macro headlines during periods of uncertainty, which this certainly is. While Bitcoin is often marketed as an alternative asset, it is still traded like a high risk portion when investors rush to protect capital. Sudden shifts in trade policy, bond yields, and global liquidity tend to spill directly into digital assets, especially when positioning is crowded. Price action across major tokens reflected that same pattern. Ethereum dipped below $3,000 during the sell-off before climbing back above $3,020, trimming its daily loss. Solana rebounded to around $130 after sliding earlier in the session, while XRP traded back near $195. Cardano rose towards $0.37 after touching weekly lows, and Dogecoin clawed back some losses near $0.127. Across the board, gains were modest, pointing to stabilization rather than a renewed risk-on push. What made this move notable was the spread of the reversal. Crypto prices fell quickly as Trump comments reignited fears of trade conflicts and policy unpredictability, then recovered just as fast once the rhetoric softened. What kind of whipsaw action has become common in a market where traders react instantly to macro signals? Bond markets were a key driver. Earlier in the week, a sharp sell-off in long-dated Japanese government bonds set yields to recent record levels, tightening global finance conditions and pushing investors out of speculative trades. By Thursday, Japanese yields pulled back after officials called for a calm, easing pressure across global rates and giving risk assets room to breathe. As markets shift towards Asia and Europe trading hours, crypto traders will be watching for whether Bitcoin can hold above $90,000 or whether the Davos relief fades and volatility returns. The past 2 days made one thing clear. Global politics and bond markets still have the power to send crypto on a roller coaster, and we shall see if that continues to be the case. Of course, always do your own research on this matter, and your investment decisions are your own entirely and not mine. Well, and of course like and subscribe to this video for more content like this, and I will see you in the next one.